Coming up next, Penn State police launch an investigation into hazing incidents on and off campus.
Plus, it's been a cold, rough winter. But is it really worse than usual?
The wind literally almost took us away. We were holding onto the light post because it was so strong.
And 16,000 volunteers will be at the Bryce Jordan Center this weekend as Penn State tradition begins again. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon, I'm Francie Ebert.
And I'm Hannah Newrohr. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. Our top story, Penn State police say they're investigating multiple reports of 2 separate hazing incidents. They reportedly happened between last Thursday and Monday at locations on and off campus and involved 2 student organizations. Under a new federal law, hazing must now be included in Penn State crime and safety notifications. The university said in a statement, "It's important to understand that an increase in Clery notifications does not necessarily mean an increase in hazing incidents. It simply reflects the new legal requirement to report and communicate these reported incidents differently." Penn State made national headlines in 2017 when 19-year-old student Tim Piazza died after a night of hazing at a fraternity house. His death resulted in one of the largest hazing prosecutions in U.S. history, and it led his parents to launch the Piazza Center for Fraternity and Sorority Research.
It's another very cold day across central PA with light snow. If you feel like we've been stuck in a long stretch of never-ending winter weather, you're not alone.
And I'm not used to this. I'm really not used to this. See, I got gloves on.
It's bundle up big time season here in PA. This winter, it's been an endless string of deep cold, ice, wind, and some snow. And while it's typically pretty cold here in the winter, with an average of 29.5 degrees, Penn State meteorologist Marissa Ferger says this season is unlike recent years.
We haven't seen a winter this cold since, I think, 2018. So, it had been so warm for the past few years that the fact that it's below average this year feels that much colder.
One factor adding to the misery is the wind.
Last weekend, there was a really strong area of low pressure on the East Coast and a really strong area of high pressure in the central U.S. And the difference in those pressures was what helped make it so windy here.
If the temperature is 20 degrees and the wind is at 15 miles per hour, it can feel like 6 degrees.
What essentially happens is the wind blows, and what it does to your skin is that it takes the heat from your skin, it removes it from the surface of your skin, and that makes the surface of your skin colder. But then you start to feel that chill internally as well.
And the wind literally almost took us away. We were holding onto the light post because it was so strong.
I feel like I'm walking in slow motion sometimes when I'm walking against the wind.
With the winter weather here, there's also a threat of ice. I'm in front of the Walker Building, and this ice stretches all the way down to that tree, making it really hard to walk on and really slippery. And ice means your risk of falling and injury rises.
Absolutely freezing outside, so things are going to ice, whether it's parking spots, stairs, anything, there's ice everywhere. And that makes it, difficult for me to get to class sometimes because I have to, it's like an obstacle course, just getting through to get to the bus. One of my friends, he just texted me earlier today that he was walking out of his house and literally just fell.
The good news, March is coming soon and spring begins March 20th. In State College, I'm Francie Ebert for the Center County Report. We've actually seen less snow than normal in State College, 20 inches to date compared to 30 inches last year. We'll check the 7-day forecast a little later in this newscast.
4 days after a major fire at a Pennsylvania manufacturing plant, firefighters are still on the scene. The fire at SPS Technologies in Abington Township near Philadelphia started on Monday. Neighbors had to shelter in place and schools closed. No one was hurt. Today, demolition crews are expected to start taking apart the building. Officials are still monitoring air and water quality in the area.
Another rural Pennsylvania maternity unit is shutting down, leaving families with fewer options for labor and delivery care. UMPC Cole Hospital in Potter County will close its OB unit in April, forcing pregnant women to travel 35 miles to Wellsboro for care. Critics call it dangerous, warning longer travel times putting mothers and babies at risk.
A pizza shop in downtown State College has shut down after less than 2 years in business. 8 Mile Pizza on South Pew Street closed because of rising costs, location, and staffing issues. The owner says he's looking for a new spot with a dining area and alcohol services. For now, his Detroit-style pizza is still available at Mutant Brewing in Scranton. A Buffalo Wild Wings is opening in downtown State College next month. It'll be located on Garner Street on the first level of the student apartment building, the Maxon. This new location will have innovations including video displays and a new Buffalo Wild Wings design. Opening day is March 17th.
State College is now looking for its first new police chief in almost 10 years. That's because Police Chief John Gardner has announced he'll retire at the end of this year. He's been chief since 2016 and has been in the department for 35 years. The borough says it'll start a nationwide search for its next chief.
New Penn State data research shows online gambling continues to increase in Pennsylvania. Reporter Mackenzie Bruns is live in our studio with more on this story. Mackenzie?
The researchers surveyed more than 1,400 PA residents and found that 1 in 5 adults are now gambling online. That's a 4% increase from the year before. It shows betting is easier than ever, and more people are doing it. For years, gambling meant you had to go to a casino. Now, for people like Ryan Esslinger, betting is right at their fingertips.
And I ended up placing like $10 on like a 3 or 4 leg like basketball parlay. Was sweating it out until about probably midnight, 1 in the morning. I ended up winning, I think, $150.
The new state gambling survey found 20% of adults now gamble online, and the numbers are rising. Jillian Russell, a co-investigator of the report, says accessibility is erasing supervision.
If I'm at a casino and if I've had too much to drink, someone could eject me. They could tell me, okay, you're cut off, it's time to go home. At home, there's no one to tell me that.
The shift to online betting is bringing in big bucks. Pennsylvania now tops $2 billion in annual online gambling revenue.
While the convenience of betting on your phone or on your computer is attracting more users, it's also raising concerns.
Many people are engaging in illegal gambling, and we believe that a lot of them are actually doing it involuntarily. They think that they're gambling legally, but they aren't.
Not all online betting is legal. The study from Penn State researchers found more than 20% of adult PA gamblers use unregulated or illegal gambling sites.
And it's not always clear whether or not they are sanctioned by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to be here.
Glenn Sterner, principal investigator of the project, says keep an eye out for language that says the online site is regulated by PA Gaming Control Board, or for other types of online horse betting, the Department of Agriculture. But the risks go beyond illegal sites. They include gambling addiction.
So if you're gambling frequently, if you're gambling on multiple platforms, that group specifically has much more higher likelihood of having some sort of gambling problem-related behaviors.
For Esslinger, a Penn State student, his advice is simple.
Don't start gambling because it's almost like smoking or like anything like that. It's very addictive.
There are resources to help people who are struggling with possible gambling addictions. Call 1-800-GAMBLER, that's the National Problem Gambling Helpline. Live in studio, I'm Mackenzie Bruns. Back to you.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Penn State's public broadcasting station is facing more budget cuts as the university continues to tighten its financial belt. WPSU says it'll see about $100,000 in cuts in the 2026 fiscal year. That follows a 20% budget cut for the upcoming 2025-2026 fiscal year beginning July 1st. WPSU includes public radio and TV throughout central Pennsylvania. The TV station airs the Center County Report each week across 29 counties.
Penn State's annual dance marathon, known as THON, will again raise millions of dollars in donations, and this year's event begins in just a few hours. Reporter Sarah Grosh is live at the Bryce Jordan Center with the story. Sarah?
It might be quiet and cold right now outside the BJC, but it will look drastically different in a few hours. In less than 6 hours, the dancers will stand and THON will begin.
This weekend, more than 16,000 student volunteers will unite for the 46-hour, no sitting, no sleeping dance marathon. The money raised goes to 4 Diamonds at Penn State Health, which supports pediatric cancer research and patients' families. Hundreds of designated dancers will complete the challenge on the floor of the Bryce Jordan Center, while thousands watch from the stands.
And I immediately started crying, and I hung up the phone with her, and I called my parents. I was like, you guys need to get here in 2 weeks. I'm dancing in THON.
Desi Cope was entered in the Independent Dancer Couple Lottery. After fundraising for months, she was chosen to dance in THON. While events like pep rally and concerts keep the dancers entertained, THON takes a mental and physical toll on the participants.
I wasn't hydrating enough. I wasn't drinking nearly enough water, and my feet hurt so bad because I didn't plan ahead and make sure I had good sneakers.
This year, THON added new sensory spaces to the concourse. They're available for all spectators.
Dancers are encouraged to bring items like lacrosse balls and biofreeze to keep their bodies going, as well as items like fidget toys to stimulate their minds.
As a freshman residence assistant, Cope wanted to encourage the spirit of THON. She and a coworker made survival guides to help prep first-year students.
So I really made an effort to share my involvement with THON with my residents and make sure that they had all the resources to get involved if they wanted to.
For 3 consecutive years, THON has broken fundraising records. It raised nearly $17 million last year.
Does THON have what it takes to keep the momentum going and break their fundraising record for the 4th year in a row? More coverage this weekend on our social media. In University Park, I'm Sarah Grosh with the Center County Report.
Thanks, Sarah. Still to come on Center County Report. Finally, a little warmer weather is on the way. We can check the forecast.
And the final voyage for a famous ship that spent years in Pennsylvania. Also coming up, a local pub just won some national recognition. We'll take you inside to see what everyone is talking about.
An old ocean liner is on its way from Pennsylvania right now to its final resting place in Florida. The SS United States headed out on the Delaware River in Philadelphia this week. It's being towed to Alabama, then to Florida Panhandle, where it'll be sunk and become the world's largest artificial reef. The ship broke the transatlantic speed record in 1952, taking just 3 days. After the prep work, the ship will join hundreds of other artificial reefs off the Florida coast.
Penn State's nationally known meteorology department is renovating its TV studio. Thanks to an anonymous donor, the $100,000 renovation project includes asbestos abatement, new flooring, and a refurbished control room. The department's show, Weather World, is being produced in a temporary studio until the project is done this spring. Now, here's Matthew with our weather.
It's been cold and windy here across Happy Valley, and we're still seeing those cold and windy conditions persist, but a pattern change is coming yet in store. Right now, temperature of the Beaver Stadium around 23 degrees, making it feel more like 10 degrees with that 15-mile-per-hour wind. Temperatures across the region above freezing in Bowmansport, but as you go a little bit more to your west, you're seeing those temperatures right now in the upper teens, making it feel more like our average nighttime lows. We have some cloud cover across the region right now, but we're actually seeing a little bit more sunshine to the east, but a few flurries over as we get towards State College and Pittsburgh, producing very light accumulations, if any. And we have a high pressure system just to the south and west of us, and that's actually bringing some more sunshine to those areas, and we'll see a little more sunshine going in. Taking a look at today's forecast, we're seeing those clouds linger in those northern and western portions of the state. It's going to be a great weekend to support the world's largest run student philanthropy, so absolutely. It'll be a little bit cold and a little bit chilly with those winds coming out of the west around 10 miles per hour. As we get into tonight, we'll see those lows getting into the teens, and we're going to see those clouds linger tomorrow, but it's going to be a lot warmer. And taking a look at the THON weekend forecast, we have those temperatures right now actually in the mid-20s, so it will be a little bit cold out there, making you feel more like the teens, but no travel impacts for THON weekend at all, as we'll have no precipitation to really worry about. Taking this into time, mostly cloudy conditions with temperatures a little bit more near average, seeing those winds coming out of the south, bringing some more seasonal temperatures for this time of year. Otherwise, just some rain and snow showers to our north, but really no way in major impacts at all. And taking it into today's forecast, we're seeing those highs around 10 degrees below average, mostly cloudy conditions, flurries, and a little bit breezy with those highs in the mid-20s. And for tonight, we're seeing those lows as we get into the mid to upper teens. It will be quite a little bit cold out there, but you'll definitely want to bundle up and bring some hat and gloves. It will still be a little bit chilly, but as we get to tomorrow, though, a little bit more seasonal temperatures will come their way. And as we even get into the 7-day forecast, we're going to see a rise in temperatures getting a little bit above average for this time of year. A few flurries today, but as we get towards the weekend, those highs in the mid to upper 30s. But for next week, we're actually going to see highs and lows mainly above freezing. So it will definitely be quite a change in scenery as we get some warmer temperatures work their way into the region.
Yeah, I will say this cold weather is killing me.
I sure am ready to pack up my winter boots and coat. Now let's check in with Owen in the world of sports.
Coming up next in sports, Penn State football is sending some notable players to the upcoming NFL pre-scouting combine. And we focus on Nittany Lion wrestling as another dominant season rolls on. Hear from Coach Cale Sanderson next. I'm Owen Gelber with sports. The top-ranked Penn State wrestling team hosts American University tonight for senior night, where several legendary Nittany Lions will be honored. This week, head coach Cale Sanderson talked about the lasting impact this senior class will have on the program. Penn State wrestling closes out its dual meet season at home tonight with a chance to go 15-0 on the year.
It's been a great group. You know, obviously we want them to be able to finish where they want to finish. And I think I say this every year. You know, I'm not sad. The guys leave. I think, you know, the point is, like, get in here, take care of business, and you move on with your life.
Winning, and winning big, is the standard here. As we reach the end of February, Penn State remains a perfect unbeaten and clinched yet another Big Ten championship. Penn State now has their eyes set on making history with their third four-peat national championship in just 14 years. Under head coach Cale Sanderson, Penn State has won 11 of the last 14 national championships, and winning it all again this year could be a storybook ending for several Nittany Lion seniors who have had major contributions to the program during their time here. Carter Sirachi, Bo Barlett, and Greg Kirkfleet are among those who will be honored this evening. 184-pounder Carter Sirachi went 4 for 4 with individual national championships in his undergraduate years and hopes to make it his 5th consecutive title in as many years. Greg Kirkfleet, Penn State's 285-pounder, also looks to close out his collegiate career on a high note with his 2nd straight individual title. Coach Sanderson, staring at the departure of the senior class, wants his guys to finish what they started and looks forward to his incoming class carrying on the tradition of hard-nosed wrestling.
Of course, you're going to miss him. No way he's going to be replaced. You know, you're just going to, just find kids that want to be here and they're going to work hard and want to be the best in the world.
Penn State heads to the conference championships next weekend. Tonight's senior night match against the 10-9 American University Eagles begins at 7 o'clock at Rec Hall. The NHL Four Nations face-off wrapped up last night with the U.S. taking on Canada in a rematch for the championship. The game was played before a packed and rowdy crowd in Boston. The game was tied 2-2 in overtime when Connor McDavid scored to give Canada the 3-2 win. The heartbreaking loss for the U.S. may serve as motivation for next year's Winter Olympics. To college hockey now. Penn State is on the road this weekend, trying to stay red hot in a late-season push for an NCAA tournament bid. Tonight's game is a tough one against number 1 ranked Michigan State. But the Nittany Lions are on a roll. They swept Notre Dame last weekend at home. Goaltender Arseny Sergeyev continues to be the difference maker, holding it down with a .916 save percentage and a 2.6 goals against average. Sophomore Aiden Fink tallied 3 points over the weekend and remains atop of the NCAA point list. Tonight's puck drop for Game 1 in East Lansing is set for 6 p.m. Now on to the hardwood. Penn State men's basketball is on the road to face Minnesota tomorrow. The Nittany Lions snapped a 7-game losing streak on Wednesday against Nebraska. The team came out hot and didn't look back, dropping 89 points on the Cornhuskers. Senior Zach Hicks led the way with 19 points and 6 boards. Penn State football is sending 5 players to this year's NFL Combine. Abdul Carter and Tyler Warren will be joined by safeties Jalen Reed, KJ Winston, and linebacker Kobe King at the Scouting Combine. The pre-scouting event for the NFL Draft will be held in Indianapolis starting next Thursday. That's all for sports. Did you catch that game last night?
I did, and it was unfortunate, but what can you do about it? USA lost.
Looking forward to next year's Winter Olympics now.
Thanks, Owen. Coming up next, a local restaurant receives a national honor. We'll take you inside after the break. Center County is home to some good restaurants. Now one of them in Bellefonte is getting national recognition. I stopped by to find out why the Food Network just gave it an award. A cozy pub in Bellefonte just made a national name for itself. Food Network named the Governor's Pub the most charming small-town restaurant in Pennsylvania.
It's a place where families can come together, get a good meal, have lots of laughs because we're a little trippy, and just have a good time.
Whether you're on a first date, stop it, or satisfying a late-night craving, Governor's Pub has a menu full of eclectic food.
Pub vibe, but with a twist. So like this way, some of the pub food is a little different than what you would normally see. Our shepherd's pie is not your typical shepherd's pie, but it's one of our best sellers. It's fabulous.
Owner Sue and Dave Brockway say they also try to prioritize customer service.
I think our staff does a fabulous job just making people feel warm and friendly, and the food is always, right on, very good stuff, and
very consistent.
And very consistent, and we just like being part of this small little town.
Now the small town pub is getting a big honor thanks to the Food Network. In Bellefonte, I'm Hannah Newrohr for the Center County Report. And now I'm hungry. That's all for today's newscast. We hope you'll join us next Friday for our next local news update.
But you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Center County Report X. And you can see our stories on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and our website. Have a good weekend.